And I'm here today with Linda Ragsdale, who is the Peace Dragon, but also has a new book from Flowerpot Press, and it is this gorgeous book, The Raindrop. So welcome, Linda.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. I'm excited to tell you all about this story.
Yeah, so tell us about The Raindrop and how this idea came to you.
But I love when people have the origin stories to their books. And this one to me was so random, but we always are looking for things. We always hear something or something will turn your heart and you'll be like, oh, that's what I've got to write about next. A friend of mine had sent me this video, and it was a Native American woman who was talking about floodwaters that were rising around her house. And so she had to make peace with losing everything. And we've seen some of these disasters, but here was this woman, and she had found her peace that this was things and the water was going to, well, as she had made that peace, the water split around her house and her house was saved. Okay, so that's really cool, but that's not what that's not at all what it was. It's what she said next that just, right, it was one of those moments. She said, water has been here since before the planet was formed. And I just thought, and I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, that means that water knows the entire history of this planet. Imagine if you could have this conversation with a raindrop, what it would tell you. It knows it knows where the Yeti is. It knows where, right, all of the secret creatures are way down in the deepest parts of the ocean. It knows, it has come over, right, with everyone who has sailed to get to new lands. It is part of this history. And it is magical and it changes. So that was the one phrase that water was here before the earth was, right? And that it is here. And I thought, how many times we get up and we see a rainy day, like today is one of those rainy days, and we get up. Imagine how excited you could be, because if you're going to go out and catch a raindrop, and then imagine where it's been. That raindrop could have dropped on the head of a T-Rex. I mean, I just think, so that to me was, so the book, I hope, inspires an awe for this amazing element which is on our planet.
Well, it is a beautiful book, and the language is so gorgeous. You pack a lot in here. I mean, it starts with the wonder of the water, and then you go into more, more, I don't want to say more interesting, but more, fact-oriented things. And I just think that the structure of it is really gorgeous and beautiful, and the writing is so lyrical.
Thank you so much. Right, water is fluid too, so I think hopefully it captures that, because yeah, water is one of those things that we do hear, and sometimes the absence of, like in a snowstorm, that beautiful quiet, right?
Or my favorite, the soft thud when a big fat snowflake lands.
Right. Those are right, or two, the crackling, right, of icicles when you hear them drop, or we live by a lake, so a lot of times you'll hear that lake crack and you'll be like, wow, that's amazing. But it is, so the parts of the book take you through that. There is this awe of that it knows the history of it. Then there is the musical aspect of it, that it does these things, but sometimes it does it loud and sometimes it does it softly. Like water carved the Grand Canyons, the power of that. And when you take the power, right? So if water did that, and our brains are 90% water, right? All of a sudden you start applying the power of water within our own body systems. But then in the last part of it is also that if I put out the limb of my arm and I go stand out by the limb of a tree, oh my gosh, we're the same. The water that runs within that tree limb is the same water that runs within my limb as my arm, my extension. The unity of ourselves within this element is also fascinating. So there's history, there's sound, there's beauty. And I think the rhythm of that follows just like our heartbeat. It's a rhythm,
Wonderful. Well, this is for teachers. So do you have any suggestions on how teachers can use this book with their students?
Well, actually, right, so always, I'm going to put a little pitch in here, always reach out, because I love to do Zoom meetings and go through reading and actually showing. I love, right? And I love the way the Flowerpot Press let the type go around and the illustrator wrap the type, because the type does move with some of the images in the story. Yeah, I love.
It's so beautifully designed.
So what I think is, I have a PDF that has a water quiz on it. It has discussion questions. It has a story sheet that asks the kid, okay, so you caught a raindrop in your hand. Where has it been? What is it going to tell you? What is its secret? Or where would you like to send your raindrop and have you come back and tell you? If you can't get there, send the raindrop. Tell us about the wonders and the awesomeness of this world that we have. And then it has, like I said, it has a water quiz, 20 questions that are not to necessarily test your knowledge of it, but to expand your knowledge of it. Just to be amazed at how, when I was collecting the facts on water, it blew my mind away. It also blew my mind, you know, we are lucky enough to live in a place where we walk over to a faucet and we get clean water. That existence is not worldwide. So when you learn about how far you have to walk, and if you have a child, pick up a gallon of water, right? A gallon of milk, then walk around the house, right? Walk around, because people walk miles and miles. Kids walk miles and miles, and with much more than a gallon. If you put a gallon of each in your hands and you walk around your house and you walk for miles, you get an idea of what that is. If you had to carry around a jug of water with you every day and realize this is what you have to bathe, to eat, to cook, you know. And then I challenge everybody, take a little cup of water and brush your teeth. Don't leave the water running. Don't learn to dip it, put on your toothpaste, do it, rinse the sink, and see how little water you can use when you're doing things. There are ways that we can change what we do. Taking a shower 1 minute less, right? Cutting off that last song lyric, that last round, when we're in the shower, we'll save, you know, up to millions of gallons of water a year. So there's this whole PDF, and I'll send you the link, and it gives you discussion points, it gives you the quizzes, the answers to the quiz, and where they were sourced. So you have that, because a lot of times you may look at something and someone will look it up and find something different. So it's a wonderful way to know how facts change, and facts change easily. So there is the source list that's attached. And like I said, there's also how to draw a wave, how to draw sharks and whales, and I think one other, a narwhal.
Oh, who doesn't love narwhal? That sounds great. So this is such a great cross-curricular resource. So we'll have that on Publisher Spotlight. So go to Pub Spotlight, our Pinterest board for ILA, and you'll see a resources section. We'll put this in that space. And if you are seeing this before the end of October, you can register and perhaps win a signed copy of This Raindrop from Linda Ragsdale. So be sure to enter for that. Linda, thank you so much for taking time today to talk with us about this wonderful book. And I just hope that you just have a wonderful time with all the water in your life. You get to look at water every day. Thanks for making us think about water in new ways.
I've got a couple of ducks and a blue heron right now outside there. So I'm pretty excited about, right, every day I look out my window. So
great. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Flowerpot Press, for making this.
Thank you.
Okay.